Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, down in the basement. Today we're going to do Top 10 Imaginary Friends Who Haunted Children. I have a new podcast out. The link will be in the description, so check it out if you're interested. It's called Random Stuff from a Regular Dude. Now let's get on with the video.
If someone you know has an imaginary friend, there's a 95% chance that what they are really seeing is a ghost. From the ghost of a doctor in hospital scrubs to an evil spirit that possessed 3 children. Let's talk about these imaginary friends and more only on today's top 10 list. Starting off this countdown, we have the 2 men. Mother of 6 Katie Jones got really creeped out when her young daughter would talk about people that she couldn't see. Since the age of 2, apparently her daughter Alice would talk about the people in her house. One time she started to cry. When asked what was wrong, she said, "There's 2 men in my room staring and shouting at me. I don't like it." So this poor girl was being haunted by 2 older men. Not only that, but there was a girl named...
You know, I realize kids have big imaginations and a lot of times they make things up, but if my kid started crying and saying there was 2 men staring at her and yelling at her and stuff, it's got to be a ghost to me.
Named Sheila that would apparently sit at the bottom of her bed and just cry for her mom. Well, upon doing research, Katie found that a girl named Sheila was killed in the house. Now, here's where it gets a little more lighthearted. After being haunted for months by these ghosts, Alice said that her grandmother came and told them to go away, and they did. So, isn't that kind of sweet? Like, her grandmother is still watching over her. In our 9th spot, we have the Midnight Girl. And if you guys are liking this video so far, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. According to mother of 3 Tracy, when her daughter was 4 years old, she would tell her about her little friend that wanted to play games with her. The only thing is, she constantly wanted to play and wouldn't leave her daughter alone. She especially wanted to play these games at midnight, which is really creepy. But anyways, Tracy actually resolved this issue by leaving the ghost some toys to play with in the closet upstairs. And it worked! In the morning, the toys would be completely moved around. At least we know that this ghost is on the friendlier side. Because at first I was getting scared about the games that she wanted the girl to play with her, especially at midnight. Moving on to number 8, we have the Green Man. This kid's imaginary friend is probably the creepiest one on this list. Why? Well, according to him, his friend was a tall...
Looked like an owl. Let's go back a little bit. That looks like an owl.
Probably the creepiest one on this list. Why? Well, according to him, his friend was a tall male doctor that would be dressed in bloody scrubs and would wear a medical mask. If I saw that as a child, it would have severely messed me up. But anyways, he called this guy the Green Man because the green scrubs he was wearing. Now, of course, his parents didn't believe him, so he was sent to a psychiatrist to try to talk about his problems. The psychiatrist said that the man was just a figment of his imagination, created to help him cope with the loss of his grandparents and the amount of time that he spent in the hospital with them. But to this day, he knows that the Green Man wasn't made up. He remembers him vividly standing behind him a lot and having his hand constantly on his shoulder, which is super creepy. Coming in at number 7, we have the Easter Bunny. This next individual had the Easter Bunny as their imaginary friend. But this Easter Bunny wouldn't give out chocolate or candy. No. In fact, it was just a man in an Easter Bunny costume, and it would scare him and his twin brother. One day he was sitting on the couch with his cousin.
That's a creepy picture. Oh my hell.
And when his twins started yelling, "He's in here," referring to the creepy ghost bunny man that was haunting them. They were constantly being frightened by this man that would show itself at random times of the day and night. I'm just wondering who this dude is. Like, did he pass away while en route to a kid's Easter party? Or like, do you have wardrobe options in the afterlife and he decided to wear a bunny costume? In our sixth spot, we have
Well, there's a horror movie called The Bunny Man Massacre. Maybe that's what it is.
the girl down the hall. When this boy was 4 years old, he used to always ask his mom who the girl was down the hall. If my kid ever said anything like that, I'd pack my bags and leave ASAP. And honestly, his mom was very frightened about it, because obviously they couldn't see anyone standing in the hallway. One day, she finally decided to ask more about this girl. Well, her son described the girl as being flat. He then said, "She's Tony's sister." Well, the mom's best friend when she was little was a boy named Tony. Tony's sister got run over by a car, hence why this girl appeared to be flat. We are now at our fifth and halfway mark with the babysitter. Honestly, there are way too many creepy stories involving kids and babysitters, so I'm just happy I never had to be one. Well, according to this individual, the kids she used to babysit had multiple imaginary friends. All of them were dead. One was an old lady and one had no head, with his insides sticking out of his neck. He described both of them as being covered in blood. Excuse me? How do kids see this stuff and not get terrified by it? Like, this kid was being haunted by someone with no head that was oozing blood, and he would talk about it no problem, as if it's just a normal thing for people to be seeing. And at number 4 we have...
I'd like to know how long ago it was, because if the kid was raised like watching horror movies with their parents or something like that, then I could understand that could probably be something that's, learned. But if it was years and years and years ago, why are they going to make something like that up?
Have the friend named Robert. This next individual had an imaginary friend named Robert. Robert apparently haunted him for years. Now, it's believed that Robert
was that the shape there? That mask? Look at that mask right there. That looks like the shape.
Robert apparently haunted him for years. Now, it's believed that Robert passed away in a fire. They figured this out because whenever they would turn on their fireplace, he would get mad. The kid would then freak out and demand that they turn it off because Robert doesn't like fire. He would say things like, "Robert says fire burns." I mean, I feel bad for Robert. You can tell he's not trying to be scary. Just don't have matches, lighters, or fireplaces in your house and he'll let you live in peace. Moving on to number 3, we have the woman in white. Okay, I lied. This one is probably the creepiest imaginary friend someone has ever had. So when this next individual was 3 or 4 years old, he was haunted by a woman with black hair, pale skin, super red lips, and green eyes. According to him, she would be dressed in all white and would appear on the ceiling of his room or sitting above his curtains. But the scariest place he saw her was on the hood of his car while his family was driving. Imagine that, the car's driving and just this woman is just sitting there staring at you. No one else can see them. So she would always appear at the most random times in the most random places, and it would terrify him every time he saw her. One time his mother told him to ask her what this woman wanted. Her response was, "I'm just watching." Yeah. No thank you. In our second spot, we have the possession. LaToya Ammons had to deal with something no mom would ever think they would have to deal with. All 3 of her kids got possessed. But for a while, no one believed her until they saw the kids themselves. So it started off with a lot of black flies being around the house that they just started renting. From there, the family would see shadowy figures lurking around. One night, one of her daughters screamed for her mom. When she came in, she saw one of her daughters levitating above her bed. 3 days later, all 3 of her kids became possessed by the imaginary friend that they saw. Their eyes would be bulged and they spoke in deep voices, the typical possessed stuff. At one point, one of the kids literally walked up the wall, literally just like in The Exorcist. Finally, a priest came to the rescue and was able to cast out all the evil inside of them. And in our number 1 spot, we
That's scary stuff, because I did have that experience, as a lot of you know, with that, and that stuff frightens me to this day.
have the dead friends. Back in 2018, a woman named Rebecca Evans was interviewed by a bunch of reporters because she claimed her 3-year-old daughter, Rosalind, could see dead people. One day, Rosalind told her mom that she's got new best friends. She said one of her friends' name was Tilly and the other's name was Alex. She then said that both of them live in the house with them and that they are both dead. Imagine how creeped out her mom must have felt when she heard that. But that's not all. She also said that Alex's mom and granddad both died in the house as well. So you got not one ghost that's haunting your child, you got 4. In an article, Rosalind's mom, Rebecca, said that she never talked to Rosalind about death or the afterlife. So hearing this from her was quite shocking.
Yeah.
So eventually, she did do some digging, and the house they live in dates back to the 1500s. In 1861, there was a 10-year-old boy named Alexander Turner that lived there. And in 1891, there was a 20-year-old woman named Matilda Oak that lived there. So there you go, that's her imaginary friends, Alex and Tilly. And now let's move on to our comment shout out portion.
I'll be shouting out
comments for my video.
Well, that was from Most Amazing, and it's top 10 imaginary friends who haunted children. That last one I kind of believe, you know. I mean, it makes sense to me. But now, how about a joke? You know, I put Jesus as my background pic on my phone, and now my phone never dies. Yep, he's my screen savior. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.